Honestly, Jason and Carly, one of the deeper relationships on this show, even though they are right now just friends, but they've been friends for so long. And it is a shame that the one time they actually tried to go there with Jason and Carly and go from friends to lovers, it got cut short. Kind of wish they would go there again, to be honest. What is up, fellow GH viewers? Here to talk about yesterday's episode a little bit, give my review, my thoughts and opinions on what was kind of another low key episode, I would say, overall. But I did enjoy the Nathan, Maxie, Lulu storyline overall. I think the only weakness in that story is over on the Lulu side of things, who is talking way more about dating Nathan than, actually just dating Nathan. I feel like it has become this huge ordeal to her, but I actually do think overall it is realistic. She had that good advice from Tracy a couple episodes ago to kind of just go for what she wants. Well, in yesterday's episode, it was Carly who arrived to talk with Lulu about that. Of course, Charlotte was still there. Charlotte was asking if everything is okay, obviously, because Charlotte knows that Valentin, I got it right, Alicia, is at Carly's house, and Charlotte wants to know if her father is okay, obviously. But Lulu and Carly talked about how Lulu is seeing Nathan West and how others are finding out about it. And of course, Lulu and Maxie are supposed to be best friends. And so Maxie's reaction isn't exactly happy for them because it is Maxie's ex and they're supposed to be best friends. Well, she talked about how Tracy's advice was to not live her life on other people's terms. And of course, Carly is going to agree with that advice. Carly said that Lulu is doing her part in, communicating with Maxie about this. And so I think Carly thinks that Lulu is going about this the right way. Nathan was coming back from taking his son to baseball practice, and they had a chat with Maxie. And of course, that chat quickly turned to be about Lulu. And Maxie wanted to know if he meant those words he said to her the night that she came home, or if he was hoping that she would choose Spinelli the whole time and then he could go on and move on to Lulu. I thought the dialogue in these scenes worked because it is realistic, like I was saying. I think feelings are very, very complicated. And of course, Maxie chose Spinelli, but it doesn't mean she's immediately going to be over Nathan, the father of her children. And him being with her best friend is, of course, going to rattle her feelings. So Maxie was just wondering to herself and then expressing it to Nathan here if if he would have returned to her out of obligation or if that's what he really wanted. But of course, she was being very emotional about this decision because she doesn't understand why he didn't tell her that first night that he was involved with Lulu. And I think she's asking the right questions here. Maxie is also feeling like she has nobody anymore because Lulu's supposed to be her best friend, and Lulu would be who she would talk to about Nathan moving on with another woman, but that other woman is Lulu, and so they can't exactly talk about that. Of course, that is when Lulu arrived to give us our cliffhanger in yesterday's episode. But I thought all of these scenes were well done between Maxie and Nathan. As I said in my first review this week, I am happy to see the character of Maxie back. I've always enjoyed Kirsten Storms, and I think she and Nathan had some good scenes here. I am more invested in this little, it's not really a triangle, but kinda, than I thought I would be. So, props to that. It's something at least I'm invested in because some of this other stuff in this episode, which I've been talking about all week, I am still not exactly invested in. But let's move on to Valentin getting a gun pointed at him by Jason at the beginning of yesterday's episode. Jason was there to, put a little bit of fear in Valentin to make sure that Valentin is not gonna hurt Carly. His whole thing was to get Valentin to tell him and convince him why he is not gonna hurt Carly. And Valentin told Jason about his plan to get Jack Brennan, get him incarcerated, and it's the best way getting Joss out of the WSB. Jason let Valentin know that Callum is also working with Sidwell, who is at the tippity top of the WSB, which is some information that I guess Valentin did not have. And so Valentin is wondering if he and Carly and Jason and Britt are just one big team now. But Jason's whole point of this conversation was to make sure that Valentin is going to keep Carly safe, his BFF Carly. Jason warned that if anything happens to Carly, there would be no place that Valentin can hide. He would find him, he would kill him. Carly then came back after that conversation was over, surprised to see Jason there. Jason said he was there to say goodbye. Jason's been going on this goodbye tour as of late because he and Britt, I guess the plan is for them to go on the run from all of this, but they're really making it seem like Steve Burton is leaving the show. I've been trying to stay spoiler free, I always do, of the soaps, so I don't know if he actually is leaving the show or not. But the way they're going about his goodbye tour, it seems like he's going to be leaving the show for at least a very long time. But that could just be them being overdramatic, I guess. Carly wanted Jason to promise that he is coming back, and Jason said he would, but said that while he's gone, Carly needs to work with Valentin and don't ignore Valentin's advice, because it is going to be very hard to get Jocelyn out of the WSB. These scenes between Jason and Carly, of course, there was a heightened emotion between these two friends because Jason's going to be leaving town. They had a lot of time away from each other when Jason was presumed dead and all of that. Carly told Jason that she will be here when he gets back and that she will be waiting for him to get back. She really, really, really wanted him to stay safe while he is gone. And he said as long as she stays safe too. They got more emotional and hugged it out. Honestly, Jason and Carly, one of the deeper relationships on this show, even though they are right now just friends, but they've been friends for so long. And it is a shame that the one time they actually tried to go there with Jason and Carly and go from friends to lovers, it got cut short. Kind of wish they would go there again, to be honest, because I do think this show needs a couple with deeper feelings for each other that is easier to invest in than a lot of the couples we got going right now. But the Jason and Carly scenes were great per usual yesterday. Meanwhile, Charlotte went to go visit her father at Carly's to tell him what she heard between Nina and Brennan. Charlotte's plan was to lie to Nina and tell Brennan a lie to throw him off of Valentin's trail, but Valentin did not want his daughter to do that. He wants her to stick to the story that she hasn't heard from him so that she is not under more scrutiny. Charlotte's also been worried because I guess the plan was for her and Valentin to eventually leave town and go on the run. And Charlotte, of course, doesn't really want to leave her mom because she would be worried about Lulu. But Valentin is saying that if he plays his cards right, they won't have to leave town at all. But it was good to see some father-daughter scenes yesterday. The other stuff that was going on in this episode is the stuff that I am not invested in and I'm just not going to be invested in. It's been what I've been talking about this week, that being Molly and Cody. Really picked a bad week to review this show because they are getting a lot of screen time. I do not remember them getting this much screen time in November and December. But I have zero investment in this Cody and Molly's storyline that just kind of seems like a really, really bad rom-com. Like, they are really just doing every boring thing to try and get these two together. And I'm also sorry to say I'm not invested in Molly's condition. And I know it's going to continue to play a role in the next few episodes because I believe Kate Mansi, who plays Christina, has that condition in real life, and she's going to be directing an episode coming up next week. So the Molly stuff is going to be here for the next few episodes still. But yeah, I'm just not invested in Molly and Cody, and I don't think they're doing a great job with those two.